Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram. Prem mudit manas kaho Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram. Mahadeva Satagaj
Namo Vedanta Vedani Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsajanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Mande Jagadgurum Sri Krishnam Mande Jagadgurum Narayana Narayana Is it there really?
The system, American system.
It is enough if it is there on the side. Very sensitive, super sensitive.
Yes.
Very good. Bhagwan. Thank you. Is there a place called Adelphi? Adelphi?
Yes.
That's it. How far away from here? 1 hour?
50 minutes.
Is it Baltimore side or is it Washington DC side?
Washington, D.C. Prince George's County.
There is a Hindu temple there? Is there a Hindu temple? Or maybe Hindu center?
I don't know.
I think there's some Hindu center. Hari Om Tattva Yesvaha Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Paramatmane Narayana Narayana Hari Om Tattva. To the wonderful health, happiness, long life, success in all the undertakings and glorious future of all the Mayans. Huh? Do you call them Mayans? Mayans. Mayans. Huh? My only apology is I have to drink it only. Huh? Nothing better than this. Huh? Oh, is it Sanskrit Mayan or Peruvian Mayan?
I think Prue can explain this. She chose
Maya,
the,
M-A-Y-A.
it stands for what? Mid-Atlantic?
Mid-Atlantic Area Yoga Association.
Yes.
Mid-Atlantic Area Yoga Association.
Oh, it is a double A, M-A-A-Y-A.
Well, no, we just leave out one A.
Thank you.
And we brought
Thank
you a
you.
rose.
Thank
Shall I
you.
put that?
And let it be there. Huh? Let it also get photographed, videoed. Huh? That's
And we formed about 11 years ago teachers and students of yoga to try to bring the best of yoga to the area.
beautiful, beautiful, very good. Do you subscribe to any international yoga magazines?
Well, many of us do.
Individually, not Maya as an organization.
No, not as an organization.
That is worthwhile doing, to have a sort of an organizational central library where you collect and keep many books on yoga, written on the subject of yoga, various authors. So it is available for all the members to borrow and read and give it back.
That is part of our charter. We have not yet put that into being, but I think that will be maybe next year's project. Thank you.
Library and also reading all the yoga magazines. I first now, as I told you, 15 years of American yoga magazine. I did not realize that there was yoga magazine. So many times I have been coming. Well, it's called Yoga Journal of America.
Yeah.
Yeah. there's already a Yoga and Health magazine of UK, both in English. And of course, there is a yoga magazine showing Jyotirmaya Nanda, Miami. There used to be a yoga newspaper, or a big newspaper like format, which used to come some years back, where there was all information about yoga. Everything about yoga, all the books available, all the various courses, all the various classes.
Oh, I
Everything.
know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of
You-
the
you-
Pathway
Huh?
for Washington. The
Huh?
Pathway magazine.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was a big one. It's more like a
It's
newspaper.
a newspaper and it sort of has all New Age, what
Yeah.
they call New Age information, including all yoga.
Right, right.
This still exists.
There's a copy downstairs.
So, I'd like to see a couple of recent copies. Pathway magazine. That's right. It is more or less like that Hinduism today.
Right.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Something like that. Is it monthly or quarterly?
It's more open, more wider
Yes,
topics.
yeah, much wider.
Hinduism is a little bit more.
Yes. No,
Restricted.
Hinduism is specifically
Specific.
only limited to Hinduism. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsajanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Mande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Mande Jagadgurum Jayatu Devo Devaki Nandanoyam Jayatu Krishna Vishnyam Shakkadepa Jayatu Meghashavala Komarangu Jayatu Prithvi Bharanasho Mukundu Govinda Govinda Kamanayana Vasudeva Govinda 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 Kamanayana Vasudeva Govinda Govinda. radiant immortal Atman, beloved and blessed children of the divine, yogis, sadhaks engaged in spiritual sadhana or spiritual practices and disciplines upon various yoga paths of your choice, devotees of the Lord, lovers of righteousness, sincere seeking souls, aspiring after knowledge, wisdom, and liberation. We shall take up the third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita where we left off this morning. I shall try to limit the class for a shorter period and conclude it 15-20 minutes before 5:30 or so, just in case the Maya people would like to have a little exchange with me and would like to have some specific point, in which I could share my view or idea or have any specific question or have any yoga doubt to put before me. So we give some time for anything after this is over. If there are no questions, no doubts, and nothing more to listen, then also does not matter. We will just get acquainted. And I am very happy that we have a double special feature today. One is the presence of Maya, but in the right sense. You see, Maya is of two. She can blind you and bind you and put you into bondage. But if she smiles at you, you are the luckiest soul on earth. She can liberate you. Maya has two aspects. One is the aspects as wisdom and knowledge. One is the aspect of ignorance, avidya or ajnana. As ajnana and avidya, she binds. But if she manifests herself as vidya, as avidya, she binds. If she, same Maya, if she manifests herself as vidya, liberates. She liberates. Therefore, the same government that can send you to prison for some offense, the same government can release you before time also, it is pleased. And so Maya has got two aspects, avidya Maya, binding, darkness, vidya Maya, liberate. Because ultimately she is only the inscrutable divine power of the Supreme Being. So she can do both. Same key is used for locking something, also for unlocking something. For closing a door and keeping it closed, or opening a door also, same key. Thus, Maya can be in both ways. So, we are very happy to have the presence of Maya, Vidya Maya, because yoga is the science of liberation. So, all these Mayans represent science of liberation. And the second uniqueness today is our Linda Mata is present. She has come all the way from Japan. She represents Divine Life Society in part of Japan. So she has crossed the Pacific and the North American continent, both. So you have crossed an ocean and a continent to be here. Huh? We are very happy to have Linda with us. And what is the time at this moment in Japan?
Swamiji, it's 5:40 in the morning.
Tomorrow morning. Yes.
Tomorrow morning.
It's 5:40 tomorrow morning. That's right, because we crossed the date line. When you cross the Pacific, your one day suddenly gets added into your calendar. And if you fly from Japan to America, you can leave one day and reach Los Angeles the day before.
I left Tokyo at 11 a.m. and I arrived in Washington at 11 a.m.
Okay. You left Tokyo 11 a.m. of what date and what day?
I left Sunday morning, 11 a.m. and I arrived here Sunday morning, 11 a.m.
That's Maya.
When it was Saturday here, it was already Sunday there. And so Sunday morning, she left at 11 a.m. And same Sunday morning, she reached here. Tokyo to San Francisco is about 13.5 hours flight, I think.
Should be less, Swamiji, because here it was 12 hours.
12 hours. It was a non-stop flight, no calling at Hawaii or anything. And San Francisco to New York, Washington DC, direct?
Direct Tokyo, Washington.
Right.
But you must have clear customs and immigration in San Francisco.
No.
Oh, this is something, So non-stop. Tokyo to Washington DC, non-stop. We are progressing. Because you remember 1985, I went all the way from Washington DC, beyond Tokyo to Hong Kong, and came back Hong Kong, Tokyo, back to New York and here. At that time, the clear customs in San Francisco. That little stop over customs and immigration. So we are happy to have Linda representing Divine Life Society in Japan, Southern Island. So we have got two special features which make us happy. Now, we were considering the seemingly peculiar usage of words by Krishna when he said, Janaka and others attained liberation through action, enlightenment through action only. Therefore, even for the sake of the protection of the masses, do thou engage in this battle, do thou engage in fight, Arjuna. So we said, how in a battle large masses of people will be killed and how come protection? Then I explained to you how the fighting forces standing in front of Arjuna represented only a fraction of the actual people of the two countries, Pandava kingdom and the Kaurava kingdom. So the large masses of subjects of these two kingdoms were under reference when he said, even for the protection of the masses. He was referring to those people, by a large, greater number of people. So, these are all various arguments that Lord Krishna, the teacher, is adducing, putting before Arjuna, so that he may make Arjuna to change his mind and induce Arjuna to fulfill his duty, and not to create a very awkward situation at the commencement of this Mahabharata war. So in the next verse, he puts forth another argument. Now he says action is not incompatible with the spiritual life and the enlightenment. Action is not an obstacle to enlightenment. Action does not contradict illumination or enlightenment. In the midst of action, one can attain enlightenment. Now he goes on to say another argument within the immediate context also. Arjuna was a great man. He was a renowned person. He was a world figure of his times. So everyone knew him. And in such a situation between the common man and some extraordinary personality, normally the thing is, whatever he does, other people also follow. See? They are always influenced by the life and the action and the behavior and the ideal put before them by some person whom they idolize, and then therefore he says, you being in such a preeminent position, you have to see what action you engage in. It should be the proper thing, because otherwise it will influence the other people in the wrong way. So you have to set an example. All will follow you. So if you do the right thing, everyone will go the right way. If you do something very bad, it will have a negative influence upon them, and the contrary effect, they will also begin to neglect duties and all that. So it is not right and proper. In a lighter vein, see, you have yourself seen this phenomenon. If a cinema actor has got a big fan world, if you push it, if he makes his hairdo in a particular way, there will be hundreds and thousands who will want the barber to make it just like that. Please give me so and so hairdo. So the barber, poor man, has to look up this man's hairdo and then train himself, give himself some personal training so that he doesn't lose his customers. So in Sanskrit there is a saying, Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. Praja. As the king, so the subjects. As the king, so the subjects. Therefore he says, Lord Krishna says, whatsoever a great man does, that other men also do. Whatever he sets up as the standard, that the world and people of the world follow. So therefore, you better think before you do this somewhat very foolish thing. There is nothing in the three worlds, O Partha, Arjuna, that should be done by me. The Lord doesn't have any duty. He is the Supreme. He has no duty, no obligation, nothing. Nor is there anything unattained that I should strive in order to attain. So, to engage in action, either it is because you have got a desire to attain something, or because it is duty to do something, you do. He said both of them don't apply to me. There is nothing that I need to do. I have no duty. And there is nothing for which I need engage myself in action in order to obtain it, because I am the Alpha. I fulfill other people's desire. I have no desire. There is nothing unattained by me that I should engage in action for its attainment. Yet, I engage in action. Constantly, the Supreme Being is ever engaged in action, answering prayers, running to the help of people, and looking after this creation that has been brought into being, doing all that is necessary to sustain it, protect it, nourish it, and support it. See? I am the Lord of the three worlds, therefore I have no personal grounds to engage in action. I have nothing to achieve as I have all the divine Aishwaryas. Wealth of the three worlds is mine, and yet I engage in action. Why? There should be a supreme example. So when I am before you, you know that I don't need to engage in any action. Yet you have seen me right from my avatar, right from the beginning. I always engage in action. I got rid of Kamsa in order to settle, re-establish Dharma in Mathura, where I was born. And after that, my life has been a series of various types of fulfillment of missions and actions, though nothing is there to be gained by me. You have got this as an example before me, you, and then why don't you follow my example? This example I have myself put before you, and which you have been observing ever so many years, because Arjuna and Krishna are very, very closely related and very closely associated over the years. So when he had this example of Krishna, he says, why do you not follow my example? Why do you not endeavor to prevent the masses from going into the wrong path by setting an example yourself? If you set an example, people will follow you, as you are a chief man with very noble qualities. Then Krishna goes on to tell why he is setting up this example. He says, for should I not ever engage in action, unweary, men would in every way follow my path, O son of Pritha. These are written to Thomas then. And also he says, even though I do not need to perform any actions, yet the creation which I bring forth, that creation needs that I should actually engage in protecting it and nursing it. These worlds would perish if I did not perform action. I should be the author of confusion and should destroy these things. If I do not do action, people will also keep quiet. They will also neglect duties. They will also become lethargic, apathic. And the society will be thrown into absolute confusion. Therefore, he says, just as the ignorant people engage in action due to attachment, desires, cravings, ambition, etc., you also engage in the same type of action, but not due to ignorance, but in your case due to knowledge. See? As the ignorant men act from attachment to action, O Bharata, Arjuna, so should the wise act, but without attachment, wishing the welfare of the world. So if they engage in action, it is for the sake of the welfare of the world. Let no wise man unsettle the minds of the ignorant people. Okay? By behaving in too unconventional a manner, you will be unsettling the minds of people. That's good. Let no wise man unsettle the minds of ignorant people who are attached to action. He should engage them in all action, himself fulfilling them with devotion. A commentary. An ignorant man says to himself, I shall do this action and thereby enjoy its fruit. I shall therefore enjoy. A wise man should not unsettle his belief. Let him act. On the contrary, the wise man himself should do diligently all the actions which the others do, yet without desire for any gain, any personal gain, or any fruit thereof. Okay? All actions are wrought in all cases by the qualities of nature only. Even when man thinks I act, it is the Rajoguna that makes him act. All actions are wrought in all cases by the quality of nature only. All cases means either in the case of the ignorant or in the case of the wise. It is one of these three gunas that drive people to action. He whose mind is deluded by egoism, he thinks I am the doer. It is actually Prakriti with the three gunas that is bringing about all movement and all activities. Some in and through individual personalities, but the deluded person thinks I am the doer, I am acting. But he who knows the truth about the division of the qualities and their varied functions, knowing that gunas as senses move amidst gunas as objects, he is not attached. He knows the truth that the self or Atman is entirely distinct from the three gunas, and the actions of the gunas does not bind the Atman. He is not attached to action. So the wise man also is not attached. Those deluded by the three qualities of nature are attached to the functions of these qualities. The man of perfect knowledge should not unsettle the foolish who is of perfect knowledge. You must encourage him gently and try to bring him out of his ignorance and folly gradually. Suddenly if he tries to, hey, all this is nonsense, that is all the man has got. The foolish person, or ignorant, that is all he has got. If you suddenly say, throw overboard all these things, then he will be devastated. At least he has got something to do, even though it may be not very wise, foolish. He has got something to do. Man needs something to do. If you suddenly cut the ground under his feet and said, all this is foolish, give it up, then he will be left nothing. He will be faced with a void in his life, and that can be very, very damaging to one. And therefore, you see, some teachers have caused serious confusion in the minds of people. Everything is nonsense. No guru, no teaching, no japa, everything is nonsense. See? Simply be. Simply be is the tall order, only God is. Simply. See, immediately you want the person to become simply be. See, better, easier said than done. That is not a wise method of a teacher. You must say, all right, look here, whatever you are doing is okay, but there are better things to do. So he must say, what you are doing in your level is okay, but now one should not forever be in kindergarten, or come into grade 1, grade 2. So gently, a wonderful thing. Vivekananda said while speaking about his master, Swami, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he said, the master could never criticize anyone, find fault, condemn or criticize. He never had a word of criticism. He tolerated everyone. He knew they are all in different rungs of the spiritual ladder of evolution. And they are not going to be in that rung forever, because the law of life is evolution. See, be tolerant. Wait for a little while. They themselves step into the next thing and then the next thing. He used to say, he used to tolerate, he used to wait. Yes, time will achieve everything. And he used to say, if you are in such a position where you are required to tell a person about what he is and what he is doing and tell him to keep moving on, see, do it in a constructive and a creative way. Tell him, see, what you are doing is pretty good now, make it even better. So he used to say, to all people what they are holding on to, it is their truth. Don't say it is completely wrong, error. Don't do that. Say, please realize that evolution is not from error to truth or darkness to light. It is from a lesser truth to a greater truth. From there, from that truth to a still even greater truth. They are all levels of truth only. For those in that area, that is the truth they know. See? So why you should, from a higher standpoint of view, simply condemn it? Don't condemn anything. They are in the region or level of a lesser truth, from a lesser truth to a higher truth. From that truth, which is lesser to one thing, something higher than that, from that lesser truth to still higher truth. That is the way evolution goes. Look at it that way. Don't be intolerant and impatient. He used to say lesser truth to a higher truth. I never forgotten it from the first time I read it. Yes, all evolution is from a lesser truth to a higher truth. That is what my master taught me, he said. Yes. Therefore he says, the man of perfect knowledge should not unsettle the foolish one who is of imperfect knowledge, he will grow. See? If they unsettle their minds, they will give up all action altogether. Whatever doing is wrong, if he says he doesn't know any better, he stops doing that also. He will sink into inertia afterwards. He had at least something to do. See? So he was in Rajas. Don't do that. He stops doing it. He'll sink back still lower into tamas. So, na buddhi bhedam janayat ajñam, says. Those men who constantly practice this teaching of mind, full of faith, without cavilling, they too will become free from the effects of action. Renouncing all actions in me, with the mind centered on the self. Free, that is, perform actions for me. See? Free from hope and egoism. See, where there is desire, there is hope. And where there is egoism, there is ignorance. See? You think I am the extra. Free from hope and egoism. Oh Arjuna, free yourself from this mental fever which has got hold of you due to your attachment. And then engage in battle. Do your duty, fulfill your main duty for which you have come here. But those who carp at my teaching and do not practice it, deluded in all knowledge and devoid of discrimination, know them to be doomed, to perdition. If they don't have faith in the divine word revealed through various scriptures, see, and they reject that teaching, they don't have faith, they don't believe it. They say it's all so much superstition to be thrown overboard. Setting aside the wisdom that divine teaching seeks to bring into their life, they will sink deeper and deeper into ignorance and they will destroy themselves. This is obstinacy to reject the teachings of the great scriptures. Even a wise man acts in accordance with his own nature. Beings will follow nature. Therefore, why you are saying, I won't fight? You are a Kshatriya. Your nature will drive you to fight. Therefore, don't go directly against your very born nature. That's not wise. Attachment and aversion for the objects of the senses, they abide in the senses. Let none come under their sway, for they are his foes. See, our enemy is in our own attachment and aversion, like and dislike. Not our enemy, not outside of ourselves. Each sense has got an affection for a present object of its own, aversion for a disagreeable object. If one can control these two currents of attachment and aversion, raga and dvesha, then such a person cannot come under the sway of these two currents. Herein lies the scope for personal exertion. Prakriti, which contains the sum total of one's latent impression of past actions of merit and demerit, draws a man to its course through the two currents, attachment and aversion. If one can control these two currents of life, like and dislike, attachment and aversion, if you can rise above the sway, love and hate, through discrimination and inquiry, you can conquer nature and attain immortality and eternal bliss. He will no longer be subject to his own lesser nature. One should always exert oneself to be free from attachment and aversion to objects of the sense. Better one's own duty. You say you won't do it, you won't fight, but that's your duty. You say, no, rather than kill all these people and shed their blood, I would much rather become a mendicant, a swami, and live wandering in the streets and living upon, bhiksha. I don't want kingdom, I don't want enjoyment. You say like that. But your duty is to engage in a righteous war, bring the justice to prevail among people. If you abandon your duty and take some other person's duty, wandering away like a sannyasin is not the duty of a kshatriya. It may be a Brahmin who wanders thus. That will not bring you any good. He says, better one's own duty, though you think it is devoid of merit, than the duty of another, however well discharged. Better is death in one's own duty. Doing one's duty is better to die in the course of doing one's own duty than the duty of another person. That is fraught with no good. Then Arjuna has to say something. So much Krishna has said in order to induce Arjuna to shake off this great despondency and dejection, the negative state into which he has fallen. And he says, look here, for all these reasons I tell you, you must fight. It is not wrong, you have to do it. Neglect to do the duty, that would be wrong for you, not engaging in duty. See? And you think the doing of your duty is great sin, I should not do it, I am being misguided, and you want to do something else. That is wrong. On the contrary, what you think is the right course, that is the wrong course. He says that. Then Arjuna hears all these various arguments adduced by Krishna in favor of his doing the right thing at that moment, in that circumstances. But still, something is agitating him. He says, Arjuna said, but by what impelled does man commit sin, though against his wishes? What is that for that forces a person to engage in wrong action? Why are all these people here? Educated people, wise people, they have been constantly advised against this type of injustice and wrong action by Vidura and other elders. Yet why they are doing this? What is it? In spite of themselves, people seem to be forced into this type of wrong action. Blessed Lord said, it is a desire that is born of Rajoguna. That is what drives people to engage in such very, very wrong action. It is desire. It is anger, born of the Rajoguna. This Rajoguna is a terrible thing, all devouring, all sinful. Know this as the main enemy of man here in this world. Driven by desire and anger, people engage in all sorts of wrong activity. That is what forces them. Arjuna wants to know. Forced by what? Impelled by what? They engage in such patently wrong action. It is desire and anger born out of the terrible Rajoguna, destructive Rajoguna. That makes them engage in such wrongful action. And what happens to the intellect at that time? They must at least think before they act. This intellect is there, but it becomes completely clouded by the attachment, desire and anger. Completely clouded. As fire is enveloped by smoke. Fire itself creates the smoke. But then the smoke becomes so much you can't see the fire. Completely envelops the fire. As fire is enveloped by smoke, as an embryo, the womb is enveloped by amnion, is covering a sheet. As mirror is covered over by dust, you cannot see your face. So, this is enveloped by that. This means the universe. And also knowledge. That means the all-pervading principle of desire. In this world, everyone is blinded by desire. Everyone is consumed by desire. It produces also anger. And also produces love and hate. Okay? Love and hate. Anything favorable for the satisfaction of your desire, it evokes your love. Anything that seems to prevent your fulfilling your desire, it evokes your aversion, dislike. You're going to dislike it. Why? Because it's standing in the way of your fulfilling your desire. As fire is enveloped by smoke, as the embryo by the amnion, as the pillar by dust, so this whole universe and the knowledge of man is completely enveloped and covered over by desire. Thus, as fire is enveloped by smoke, thus is wisdom enveloped by this constant enemy of the wise in the form of desire, which is as unappeasable as the fire. You can never satisfy desire by appease desire by fulfilling it. The more you fulfill a desire, it goes on becoming even more intense. It returns once again. See? There is no end to desire by fulfilling the desire. It only multiplies, it only intensifies itself. It's only when rejected, then it ceases. Manu says, Manu is one of the lawgivers of India, an ancient sage. See, very, very well known from ancient times. Manu says, desire can never be satiated or cooled down by the enjoyment of object. If you desire for an object, you possess the object and enjoy it, and then don't think that desire will be satisfied. Say, thank you very much, and then from tomorrow I will not visit you. On the contrary, it will come asking for more. And every time you fulfill it by giving it the object of inner, it will become more intensified. And it will throw your mind into absolute restlessness, destroy your peace of mind. Finished. See? Therefore, beware of desire. Cause of all sin or wrong action in this world is desire. Anger is only a modification or a form of desire. Anger is desire itself. When a desire is not gratified, the person becomes very angry against all those who stand as obstacles in the path of the fulfillment of one's desire. Desire is a quality born out of rajas. See, when desire arises, it generates rajas and urges, impels the person to engage in action for the fulfillment of the desire. And if anyone crosses the path, anger, the desire manifests, the same desire manifests in the form of anger. See? Therefore, no desire to be man's greatest foe. No, K-N-O-W. Therefore, no desire to be the greatest foe of man on this earth. Desire can never be satiated or cooled down by the enjoyment of objects. Just as a fire blazes forth with greater vigor, the more you try to feed it, see, with the things that the fire can consume, burn. See? It does not accept those things and say, yes, thank you, now I will cool down. You go on putting more things, it will start blazing with ever greater ferocity. See? Just as fire blazes forth the more when fed with the oil and wood, etc., so it grows more, it feeds on the objects of enjoyment, desire. If all the foodstuffs of the earth, see, man likes to eat good things. So he says, if all the nice, tasty goodies of the whole earth, if all the precious stones, 9 gems, if all the precious metals, platinum, gold, silver, gold, pearls, rubies, emeralds, diamonds, everything are put together. If all of them were to pass into the possession of a man endowed with great desire, yet they would fail to give him satisfaction. More you have, more you want, that is the nature of desire. The ignorant man, on the contrary, considers desire as his dearest friend when he craves for objects. See, how nice this desire, it is now going to give me a nice pleasure. So he thinks it's a very good thing. And sometimes he doesn't even know that it is a good thing. He becomes one with it. He is identified with the desire. he becomes the very form of desire. And say, I want it, I desire, I want it. Desire and he become one. See? The ignorant man considers desire as his best friend when he craves for objects. He welcomes desire for the gratification of more and more objects, for the attainment of more and more pleasure. See? But he pays a better price, more desire, more restlessness. But the wise man knows through experience, not only his experience, the experience of bygone sages also. He learns through the experience of other souls, does not wait for it to happen to himself, then learn. The wise man learns through experience even before suffering the consequences that desire will bring. See, it will bring troubles and misery. So he avoids this by not fulfilling desires, rejecting desires. So, desire is a constant enemy of the wise, but it is the greatest friend of the unwise. See? The senses, the mind, and the intellect are said to be the seat of desire. Through these areas, desire deludes the embodied by veiling wisdom, veil of desire. Therefore, O Arjuna, controlling the senses first, do thou kill this dire thing, the destroyer of knowledge as well as realization. If it destroys knowledge, then realization also becomes a horizon for it, never attainable. Therefore, do not do anything to destroy knowledge. Through knowledge only realization comes. Therefore, Arjuna, controlling the senses, first do thou destroy the sinful thing, desire, which is the destroyer of knowledge and realization. They say that the senses are superior to this body in which they exist. But superior to the senses is the mind. If mind is withdrawn, senses are inactive. Mind withdraws in sleep, then senses are inert. They cannot function anymore. Superior to the senses is mind. Even superior to mind is the intellect. For the intellect that can give the right proper direction to the mind. It is always the thing that governs the movements of the mind. If the intellect is properly developed, with discrimination, through inquiry, etc., it can be the best friend. Therefore, it is superior to the mind. But one who is even superior to intellect itself is yourself, is your true self. You who are behind and beyond the body, senses, mind, intellect, see, you are the ultimate value. You are the highest factor in this entire setup. See? Therefore, realize your uniqueness and do the right thing by yourself. When compared to the physical body, which is gross, external, and limited, the senses are certainly superior, as they are more subtle, internal, and have a wider range of activity. The mind is superior to the senses, and as the senses cannot do anything independent of the mind and its help. The mind can do the functions of all the five senses, but intellect is even superior to the mind because it is endowed with the faculty of discrimination, inquiry, etc. When the mind is in a state of doubting, intellect comes to its rescue. But the self, above all, the self, the witness of all the functions of the intellect, mind, body, senses, etc. But the self, the witness, is superior to even the intellect. For in ultimate analysis, even the intellect borrows its light from the self, or Atma. Thus, knowing him who is superior to the intellect and restraining the self by the self, slay thou, O mighty arm, this enemy of yours in the form of desire, hard to conquer. Jahi Shatrum Mahavaho Kamarupam Durasanam. Yes, overcome this enemy, slay it with the sword of discrimination, this enemy of yours, very hard to conquer. Thus ends the Upanishad of the glorious Bhagavad Gita, the science of the eternal, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Third discourse entitled Yoga of Action. So here we are. Om Shanti. Acha. There is Shanti here, there is Bob, Crane, Shiva, there is Barbara, Durga. We have been doing puja, Barbara, all these 9 days. We concluded yesterday. Mikhail, Karen Foley, and she is Gayatri. Who is Gayatri? That's very good. Very good. Oh, you are in yellow. Is that cloth also embroidered with Gayatri? Or is it? Good, good. So, it's okay to tie it around your waist or cover it your shoulder, but never use it, put it down.
Oh.
Never put it down and sit on it.
Can you sit on the bottom of it or not?
No.
Thank you.
You should not sit on it. Any one of these clothes, which either have Gayatri or Om Namah Shivaya or Ram, Sri Ram Jayam or Hare Ram, it should not be sat upon. You can use it for covering yourself, but you must avoid sitting on the bottom. True, of course, you know. And Moira Martin. Betsy Birch. Betsy. Happy to see you, happy to have you here. So, there's another Patrick also, in addition to our London Patrick, Patrick Hyde. That's why he's hiding. But he has got something to do with London, because it's HYDE, the famous path in London. Patrick Hyde and Wendy Zarota. Diane Walker Allison. Happy to have you here. Shelley Greenberg. Are you expecting anyone else? Narayan is taking a train from Yogaville or a bus or something?
Star is bringing him.
From? Oh.
Yeah.
How many hours is Yogaville? Is less than 3 hours drive?
Must be more than 3 years.
4.
Oya Harauchi. I think that's the gentleman there. You. Oya. Harauchi, is it right? Oya Harauchi. And who is Yusuke? Oh, it is Haraguchi, you see. Something else? I thought so. Because the one name underneath it has made its L so tall. It has cut away the G from so Haraguchi. There was a very famous Japanese holy man, teacher, called Tanuguchi. Have you heard of Tanuguchi? Tanuguchi. Huh? Yeah. That was his foundation. And he used to have a small magazine also. Mashuhara Tanuguchi? Masaharu Tanuguchi. Yeah. Books. Yeah. Masaharu. Yes. He was in constant contact with Master Swami Shivananda. They used to exchange their magazines. Our Divine Life magazine used to go to him. He used to send his little magazine. And his books used to come to us. Gurudev used to send his
I
books.
think we visited this place.
No, we visited the place of Fuji Guru, old man, Fuji Guru. But we visited a place where there were some group of people who had received instruction from Master Tarabuchi. Dora Williams, Ned Hartfield, Conrad McCarron, Pat Miller. Oh, Ruth Pickle also belongs to Europe. She's a dual. And Jan Zinn. We have a Zinn who used to be, yeah. She used to be in Hartford, probably. Helen Paul, Hartford. You used to have her for playing the flute upon the smoke. She's Helen Zinn. Very good. Very good. Some of you staying on for the evening satsang, or most of you are returning. Some are returning, some are staying, or all are staying, or all are returning. How is it?
Half and half.
Half and half. Very good.
I don't know if anyone else who came from the Maya group was not on my list that did.
They came later on. I think more or less they are covered.
I'm also a member of the Maya group, but there's no name anymore.
You are
I
also
was
member.
thinking of that too.
Hey, Karuna Prema also is a member of the Maya group, and so also Mother Swami. I solved the problem, you see. Until the specific name is given, it will be Swami Mataji. Look here, I've been speaking long enough. Why don't you say a word to these nice people? If you want, yes, you'll hear. She says,
That was the only rose in my garden.
She's saying God is beautiful. He shines through me. Do you see? And the beauty in the rose, and the color in the rainbow, and the sweetness of sugar, and the softness of butter. That is what Lord Krishna says in his 11th chapter. And Gurudev has sung a song of Vibhuti Yoga. Anything Swami can do for Maya other than trying to dispel it.
Sanjay, I wanted to ask you if you would tell us a story about Master Shivananda.
Yes. There is a wonderful book called Gospel of Divine Life. About Master Shivananda. Many things. Master Shivananda was completely against violence of any kind. And he never liked anyone to hurt even so-called poisonous creatures. If we say, moment a poisonous creature is seen, immediately people want to send it to heaven. Then and there, dispatch it. A snake, a scorpion, or any other thing. Never. And so, the first time I went and joined Master, it was the summer of 1914. 1943. To be precise, 19th May, month of May, 1943. And it is midsummer. And Rishikesh, in spite of its being very close to the Himalayas, unfortunately, it does not happen to occupy a high elevation. It is not much above sea level. It is the end of the plains, so it is the foothills of the Himalayas. The Himalayas are such that they are so tall, there are in some places all the 12 months, snow is always there, just like your Alps. But then, blazing hot in summer, blazing hot, terribly hot. And in summer, these poisonous creatures that live in holes under the ground, see, they cannot bear it. It becomes suffocating, so hot for them, they start coming out. See? So you have to be very careful in moving about, because that place was filled with scorpions. See? And also plenty of snakes, poisonous snakes. If they bite you, finished. But the standing order by Gurudev to everyone in the ashram is never kill any creature. Never kill any creature. No killing of scorpions. Even if a person is stung, he will be brought to the hospital, some cocaine injection will be given there to anesthetize the spot, and some other thing, a sleeping rod, putting to sleep. But don't kill scorpions. I came to know about it in a very peculiar way. See, when I met him, then they allotted a room to me. I was put into a room. And in those days, a room meant just a room. It had 4 walls and a cement concrete roof. 1 door to enter, 1 window at the back. That is all. There was no cross ventilation. 4 bare cement walls and a bare cement floor, cement ceiling, 1 door, and then a window at the back. And if it rained, you have to close the window, otherwise water will come inside. So you suffocate inside. And the door had to be constantly closed. So every room had 1 doorway only, but it had 1 wooden door, which you lock when you are going, and 1 door with this iron gauze or mesh. See? It was a dual purpose door. One is to keep out the mosquitoes, which are plenty. Secondly, you could not keep the wooden door open. The whole place was infested by monkeys. Very terrible monkeys. If you kept the door open even for half a minute by mistake, immediately a monkey will jump in and grab whatever it has got. Before you knew, it will be on top of a tree. A very mischievous monkey. And if you went after it and it already was on top, from there it will threaten you. It will threaten you. See? And therefore, you had to keep the wire mesh door always closed. See? Otherwise, if you close the wooden door, you can't work inside. There was no electricity, there was no light. The only source of light was to keep the doors and windows open. This was the situation there. And the equipment in each room was a zinc bucket, a big bucket, and a small bucket, 2 buckets. For the water, you have to go down to the Ganga and bring them. And a hard wooden cot, see, hard wooden, very crudely fashioned, see, enough for you to. It was crudely fashioned, because the top of the cot was made out of planks nailed in this fashion, about 8 or 10 planks, 6 inches wide, nailed like this. That was it. Of course. Bugs used to be plentiful. because bucks used to be brought by travelers who traveled long distance in railways, and sometimes you have to be in a train for 2 days, 3 days. If you came from Madras, South India, you have to travel long distances, and so they had to bring their own bedroll. And these bedrolls always brought plenty of resident bucks. See? And so when they stayed for a few days and they took the bedroll and went back, they left a good quantity of the bugs from South India to North India. And the bugs are prolific multipliers. And you know, they have got a technique of their own. Once I debugged a bed and afterwards took it inside and put 4 vessels with water under the legs of the cot. And so I said, I'll have a good night's sleep that night. And soon after I slept, I started feeling these bugs. Then next day I asked someone, how come I completely debugged it? I made it impossible for any bug to get onto the cot. And then I was troubled with bugs in the morning. There were bugs in the very worried. Do you think they care to climb up? You know what they do? They are full on the room. You cannot remove all of them. They always are there where there are corners, crevices in the door, in the window. They crawl along the floor, go up the ceiling, and drop down. Paratrooper. Go up and drop. So, no problem for them also. That man said that is the way they go. So you cannot do anything about these bugs. And so this equipment was the full equipment. Those who were allotted some work which necessitated their going out after darkness. Hurricane lamp was there for them. You know, with kerosene inside, you have to lift up the glass and hurricane lantern. And those who had no such work, they were provided by an earthen dish with one pointed end. See? Just a bare dish with a pointed end and a flat bottom. You put oil into it, got some cotton and rolled it into a wick. Then a lot of smoke was produced. That was the only illumination light in those days. And one more item. That was to the nail in the wall. There was a pair of iron tongs. You know, iron tongs. If you want to take charcoal from a fire, they are always apart. You have to then they are flat tongs with a little rounded end. So you can catch hold of any live charcoal or anything. Usually people who smoke, they have this tong. They want to borrow some fire from some open fire. They go there, take it, and then put it into they smoke what is known as a chillum. See? A little clay pipe. I think the American Indians used to have a little clay pipe with a little funnel-like thing and a little ending. They put some, stuffed it with tobacco or whatever they wanted to smoke, and then they had to keep over it a live charcoal. And then other end, you see, they did it like that. They held the other end like this. They sometimes had to, after some time, the whole thing started getting hot. They had to wrap a wet cloth to hold it. That was a smoke. They used to keep this tongue, but I did not understand why tongues were there for us. See? Later on, a couple of days, you see, when I was in the veranda in the evening, scorpions started crossing. I said, look at there's a big scorpion here. Said, go in, catch hold of it and throw it. I said, oh, on earth. He said, look here, go and get the tongues. Then I understood why the tongue was there. In each room we had a pair of tongs. If any scorpion gave darshan, we have to go quickly to the room, get the tongs, and gingerly catch hold of it by the tail. You lift it up. The moment you catch hold of it, for 1 or 2 times he does Vrishchikasana. He bends over, doubles and tries to bite anything that is catching hold of it. After 2 or 3 attempts, it cannot bite upon iron, it's an iron tongue. So it gives up and hangs limp. But you should not be nervous and leave it. You have to firmly get hold of it. They don't get hurt because the tail is very hard. See? And the main poison is in the tip of the tail. So you get down from the veranda, go into the garden, deposit it in some place, you may come back again. That's but you have the satisfaction of having removed it from your immediate environment, put it far off, then come and replace your tongue. That was the only way you could deal with a scorpion. You cannot lift your hand against it. Snakes, same thing with the snakes. And same thing with this terrible monkey. See, the local people, they were merciless with these monkeys. The vendors, for example, those who vend fruits or little sweets or things upon a tray. See, who take a trolley tray. There are many street vendors who keep their wares upon a trolley tray and push it and they were absolutely merciless. They kept a big stick with them and also they kept some stones. And so, if the monkey was foolish enough to come and grab something, it either got a big whack by the stick, otherwise if it ran away, stones followed it. That was the usual procedure. And we had no such liberty to do it. And so we had to be careful on our side, and many a times when we are getting some food or fruit, the ashram was situated 2 or 3 levels of a hillside, you see. A hillside that went right into the water stage of the Ganga. So if you are moving about, unless you are careful enough to conceal it, if it was out of sight, they were a little hesitant to pounce upon it. But if anything was visible to them, maybe bananas or some fruit or anything, once finished, he will immediately, he cannot resist the temptation. He will immediately pounce upon you, grab it and go away. You have to be careful. And so there was not much love lost between the inmates of the ashram and the monkeys. And during that time, those years when I was there, Master had just permitted a small little primary school, see, to be conducted, because there were a lot of little children in that locality, families, and little children could not go to Rishikesh. The traffic was dangerous, so people had approached Master and said, "Why not, Master, have a little school here for children, tiny tots?" He said, "Okay." Just the previous year, he had opened a school. It's called Shivananda Primary School. Kindergarten, from class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were about 15, 16 children there, and the teacher, school teacher. Now the children had to come from locality, climb up the hill. School was situated upstairs, up the hill. And sometimes these children, if they are alone, the big monkeys did not care about the children normally, because they knew the children, they don't carry anything, they have the books. But sometimes these little monkeys, see, they are very beautiful, but very dangerous. See, if you threaten a big monkey, he may run away. If he gets the idea that you are causing some danger to the little ones, finished. Immediately they're all grouped together and pounce upon you. Yes, they were very ferocious. And sometimes, when these 2 or 3 children were running up the hill to come to the school, if 1 or 2 small monkeys cross their path, the children are children, they made a gesture towards it to frighten it away, not thinking that there may be bigger ones somewhere nearby. Some of them, bigger ones, used to pounce upon them and they used to set up a screamer. Once what happened was, some children were coming up. I was in the upper level, just inside the room. I heard some child starting to scream like, yell like anything. I came out suddenly, and I found a monkey pouncing upon the child. Monkeys are afraid only of one thing, stone. They are not afraid of stick or anything because they know stick has got limits. Stone can follow them anywhere. Therefore, they have got a healthy respect for stone. And so, I had nothing, but the child was in danger. I was looking at it and I shouted, and the monkey looked at me. I did like this, and nothing in my hand. There was no stone, there was a bare cement platform I was standing upon. I went like this, hey, hey, what are you doing? I heard someone say, Master was behind. She had come up the hill to inspect some construction that was going on or something, and he had to take a detour, and he came up on the platform, and suddenly he saw me coming out. What are you doing? I said, nothing, Swamiji. Monkey was attacking the school child. So what? Monkey was attacking, and so you are attacking the monkey. I said, no, I had nothing in my hand. It was just to frighten the monkey. I said, no, you should not frighten it also. He was not bothered about the incident. He was only telling me the principle. He said, you should not even frighten me. If someone frightens you, do you feel good about it? No. He said, not only should you not throw stones, that is, you should not even pretend to throw stones because it will frighten them. His this idea of non-violence, or compassion, kindness, non-injury was such superfine idea. He said, you should not even frighten the monkey. Should not. And also, he didn't want us to have excuses. No means no, you should not do it. So he was very, very strict. I never forgotten afterwards. After that, I seldom took it even to frighten a monkey. But it was an extraordinary circumstance, but he knew. He knew what I was doing was not entirely wrong. Because I did this in order to prevent some. But yet he wanted to impress upon me, real ahimsa means it should be perfect. You should not, because he said, what his idea was, you now pretend to throw stones, but mind is a terrible thing. Afterwards, you won't mind picking up a stone also, pretending to, and next thing will be, you'll find yourself throwing a stone. So, give no laxity to the mind. If you want to stick to a principle, stick to it 100% strictly. This was master in those days, 1943, 43, 44. And every Saturday, he sent someone to the local market and brought a whole sack full, big sack. See, in India they have a big sack of peanuts. And no matter how much havoc the monkeys have been working throughout the week, when Saturday came, whole sack of peanuts had to be taken. He used to have someone go to a big terrace, open roof of a building, and he had to call the monkeys and scatter them throughout the terrace, and for 1 hour no one could approach the terrace. They were busy. And after a time, the monkeys did not need calling. There's some built-in calendar, I think. Saturday morning means they will all be nearby, hovering out of mischief. And so, endless are the stories. Right? There was once a man who came. He was a Swami also, locally living. And he came to see Master. Master was in the office. sitting there. He said, "Oh, come, welcome, welcome. Oji, give him a seat." Come and meditate. How are you? How come? No, I came for darshan. Master knew he did not come for darshan. He was expecting something from Master. After a little time, whenever Master came out of his room was on the bank of the Ganga, literal, right in the bank of the water's edge. And when the river was in floods sometimes, in very heavy monsoon season, there have been occasions when the water entered into his room. And then we had to vacate the room and move Master somewhere up. Once in some years it happened. Twice within my knowledge. Once the flood water came to this level inside the room, 1956. When he came, every day he used to live there. And he actually lived in an underground cellar. The room was a basement, actually. Because from the road level, from the street level, you had to go down a flight of steps and then enter into his room. And the room above him opened into the street level. And but his room faced in the opposite direction of the river. Whereas the ground floor room above him, it faced the road, which was on the mountainside. And when he emerged out of that, he used to have half a dozen bags. One bag contained his fountain pen, his watch, knick-knack. Another bag contained some free literature. Another bag contained a few loose coins, Indian money in coins. Another bag contained a few medicines sometimes. A fifth bag contained some sweets for children, little candy. And sometimes a sixth bag contained cashew nuts. He gave it to adults. Candy he gave it to children. Little coins he gave to those who were poor. And literature to everyone. Any visitor means literature must come out. Like this used to come in many bags. Later on, when he became a little infirm, someone else had to carry all his bag, and he must know which bag contains what. The moment you ask him, he must get it. Otherwise, Master has no time to waste. And then he told us, after a little few exchange of words, he told Oji, take a couple of fivers from the sign like that. Sometimes he used to have his code words. He used to say, get me 2 Pandavas. Pandavas means 5 plus 5. Pandavas were 5 brothers. Yeah. So, then some senior disciple of his was standing by. He said in vernacular. Swamiji, see, this fellow, why do you want to give him something? He's always criticizing you. He always talks nonsense about you. I have heard him many times talking among others. He doesn't have a good word to say about you. He says, oh, he's a big fashionable Swami, English Swami. Always having foreigners and biscuits and what Swami he is. And that he is a man who is accustomed to saying, because Gurudev was presented by a great coat once in winter. So he was presented, he wore it. And had himself photographed by the person who brought the coat. He is a man. He's not a family Swami, he's a big what's a boss, big boss. Like that, he is in the habit of saying, scandalizing Swamiji, criticizing, talking all sorts of rot. Why does Swami? He says, I know. He is going about his business. I am going about my business. He says, you don't have to tell me. I know. So he knew this man and his nature and what he does about him, but that did not prevent him from doing. And another curious case, another sadhu came. He came and he didn't make any bones about matter. He says, Swami, I have been recently ill. I was under treatment and I have been in hospital, I've been discharged. I'm feeling very weak, and I'd like to have some nourishing food, I'd like to have some milk and fruit, etc. I have no money. Please give me. He mentioned some sum of money, maybe 30 rupees or 40 rupees. Swami turned to the man who has some money. Swami, give him a tenner. Swami, he's asking for 30 rupees. Oh, 30 marks, we give 10. So he gave 10 rupees to him. That man was very, he was not satisfied. So he was not ready to take that and go. Yes, Swamiji, this is not enough. I want at least 25 rupees. So he kept quiet. He went on again. Oji, that's all. That's all. Many people were there. Many people were there. And after a time, several times he asked. So he went. Swamiji knew every sadhu in the whole of Rishikesh. Who is who, what was what, everything he knew. So he said that I was not going to give him money to go and booze, therefore I did not give. I gave him just so even if he makes use of it for something, mischief will be less. So you cannot read his actions each according to the situation of the time, the person concerned. He used to do it. He gave money liberally to someone, he did not give to someone. And he was lavish in giving. If a new book was being printed in the press, every day he'll ask, what progress have you made? How many pharmas have you printed? How many more days will it take? Sometimes when he went up for some other work, he'll drop in into the press and see how the work is going. And every evening they had to bring that day's printed proof for him to see. So day by day, he will see it grow. Great joy. If it has become fat, he is very happy. Like that, he used to keep it, and he was impatient for it to be, get ready quick. How many more days? How many more days? And so, when they ultimately finish all the forms, how many days will it take to bind it? Then when it is bound and it is ready, bound and cut and all that, they had to come and give him the first big batch of books. And those were days when 1,000 copies of a book was printed. In those days we could not afford to print more than 1,000, maximum 2,000 for each impression. 1,000 were printed, more than 500 were given away, distributed free. Immediately a batch came, he would call everyone. Any visitor was there, he would call all the inmates of the ashram. Give one copy to them and give half a dozen to the library and put away a dozen. He will send it to the press back, wrap it up properly, make a nice bundle, put a name label upon it, put it away somewhere, never to be touched. Why? Supposing anyone asks for a reprint, it must always be available. Otherwise, if the last copy is out of print, out of stock, not available, means you cannot get a reprint of the book. Who is going to produce the manuscript once again? So always he used to put away. There was a separate rack where every book made into a bundle that is put away. And immediately it came, he used to spend 2 for every newspaper, and to all the inmates, any visitors who happened to be there, and like that, and then start sending it by mail. Free to all the libraries, all the universities, all this. He used to send one bundle to Stalin, one bundle to Roosevelt, all the head of states of all the government. Many times we told him, Swamiji, Russia is godless, they will not read it. Stalin is not going to read it. He said, someone will read it.
Now they will read. Now they will read. Because now anyone can follow religion. Conduct mass also.
Now more English has also spread. He used to send to everyone, and all the vice chancellors of all the universities. So his books are all over the world. See, and so he had a separate list of all the heads of state by their name. See, and if he passed away, he'll score it out and put the next president of the United States. That he used to do. So books used to go more than 50% free. That was his giving. And no one, so much so, his devotees in Delhi, after that, come into contact with him, knew him for many years. He said, our Gurudev's Guru gave him a wrong name. He ought not to have called him, christened him Shivananda, he ought to have called him Givananda. Swami Givananda, he was such a heart, such a hand. I have never seen anyone. In my life, I have not seen anything. Anything and everything. See, Prasad give means he will not take by count. He knew only to grab like this with the paw and give it. He never gave it to fingertips. See? And once we were sitting in satsang, and by that time it was 1949. 6 years after I came, they made me General Secretary of the Society, because the one who was acting as General Secretary, he left the ashram due to some reason. He left the ashram. So they told me, Gurudev told me, you please. I said, I am not at all the fit person. I don't know anything about administration. No. You keep. I will look after everything. You be. He said, I don't want super fit persons. I want a sadhu. he literally said this. So I became General Secretary. And so, in summer he came and sat outside the office for some time. He was sitting, and some visitors were there, and some inmates were always around him. And some beggar came. He went and approached Swamiji. Swamiji was engaged with some visitor. Had come out from him, he was discussing some topic. He said, oh, Ramaji, give him 2 annas, he told me. Give him 2 annas. I said, yes, Swamiji, I looked at. I also used to carry bag always. So I took up, there was no 2 anna coin, there was 4 anna coins. I took 4 annas and gave it to him. 4 annas or 8 annas, I gave it to him. He went away. Master was very intuitional. He went away. As far as I was concerned, the incident was closed. After he had finished with the visitor, he asked me, Oji, did you give him 2 annas? I said, Swamiji, I did not have 2 annas. I gave him 8 annas. Oh, you have become very rich, I think. He did not like it. See, he did not like it because he says, do what I say, but do not do what I do. He said, if they start going, they'll become spendthrifts. And if this habit comes, spendthrifts, afterwards they will not be able to do without money. See? Afterwards their mind will go after money. See? That would be very, very wrong for one who has renounced everything and come. He said that. I kept quiet. Afterward, I have never forgotten it. He wanted us to be thrifty and use common sense, be wise. See? He may do anything. And after a few days, I was there in front of the office. Swamiji had come. He was on his way to the office from the Buddhist. He came. As he approached the office, he was holding something in his hand. When he came, he put it in my hand and said, oh, put it away. It was a paper clip. See? He had seen it somewhere on the way. He had picked it up and brought it here to put it away. See? It was a lesson that nothing should be wasted. Nothing, it may be a very trifling thing, but it is the principle. It is useful. It can be used. It's not spoiled. Why should it be left? Why should we throw it? See? Nothing should be. He brought a. I mean, these things stick in the mind. So you can, as long as you live, you cannot forget them. How very careful, how very thrifty he was, because he knew what it was to have nothing and have to do with nothing. When he was seized with an inspiration to put down his ideas for the sake of the benefit of all people, she had no money, she had no paper, she had no ink or pen, and he used to go behind the offices of the ashram where he was living in a hermitage, you see, a little room during sadhana time. And the officers, after getting correspondence, when they had extracted the letter from these envelopes, they used to dump the envelopes through a back window. He used to go collect those covers, empty covers, and carefully slit them. One side they have already slit in order to take out the letter. He would slit the other two sides, so open them up, and inside is blank. He used to write his early manuscripts upon, and he has written down all these things. Sometimes he had managed to collect some of these envelopes and made them available. He had no ink, and if he had ink and envelope, he had no oil for the lamp. He could work only during daylight. He could not work in the night. And this was, so he knew thrift. Very careful about small things. If you take care of small things, big things will take care of themselves. So later on, when I came to the ashram, there was one short Swami who was in charge of receiving mail, opening all the envelopes, and taking out the letters and putting it before Swamiji when he came to the office in the morning, Purnabol. And so, this Purnabol, there is something called in Indian language umbrella rib file. It's called umbrella rib. You know, an umbrella has got many ribs. The empty skeleton framework of the umbrella is a central stick and radiating ribs. See, even umbrellas are spoilt and all that. The junk dealers used to purchase all these umbrellas and throw away the cloth and throw away the central stick and take out all these ribs and nicely straighten them out, sharpen one end of it and bury the other side of the rib into a wooden base, a wooden base, a thick, heavy wooden base. And so if the base was kept there, the rib stood out like that. And miscellaneous papers which you didn't want to throw away entirely, as soon as you are done with the paper, you impaled it on the lip until it went on the base. Like that you were. So in course of time, you had this file, not opening closing file, ever ready file. You want to take off. So I found one umbrella rib file like that with a young Swami. And it was a peculiar collection of things. What was that? It was all, after the cover was taken, he had to slit two sides of it, open them up, put them. So if you wanted to jot down some memo or some slip or something, send a message to someone, he took out one, made use of it. So, available paper without having to spend a cent upon it, without having to purchase it. Someone else has purchased the cover and sent a letter, and after taking out the letter, you made it into blank paper. The other sides were with the stamp and with the address and all that, but inside is a blank. So these are little things Master taught us. Now it is lunch, what do you call, supper time. If we go on talking about the Master, there is no end about it. So, many stories. Several people have written what is known as day to day. Day to day. They used to be with Master from morning till evening, and whatever happened during that day, they jotted down. And all these, they kept a diary. It was collected and then later on printed, Shivananda, day to day. Many interesting stories are there.
Gospel of Divine Life.
Gospel of Divine, yes. Durban printed a thing called Gospel of Divine. There are also a lot of things. There are collections. Many people were writing like that, you see. over the period of time. And then, so I have told you Hapadan about a sadhu to whom he gave money even though he was abusing and criticizing Swami. He is doing his business, I do my business. And about the sadhu who was ill, who wanted to milk and fruits money, Swami refused to give him, he knew what, and about this little incident of my giving little more than what he had asked me to give. Oh, you have become a very rich man, he said, quite gravely, pulled me up. And then about this incident of the pin and how he made me never even raise the hand. You have no right to frighten a monkey. Who are you? See, he says, it is their place. Long before we came, they were the inhabitants. We have barged into their area. Now we want to drive them out. So if all the monkeys were to hold a conference, what would they say? These people, they have no business to come here. Now they are wanting to come and lord it over us. Like that, monkey point of view. Master was a many-sided personality. And a very wonderful. Hari Adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto Thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient. Thou art Satchitananda. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptations and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, greed, hatred, anger and jealousy. Fill our heart with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever upon our lips. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Peace unto all beings in this universe. Peace be unto you all. Hari Om Tat Sat. God bless you. God bless you. Narayan. Pat Miller, Conrad Macaron. Pat Miller, Conrad Macaron. Let heart fear. Dora Williams. Horaguchi. Mr. and Mrs. Horaguchi. He had to leave. So. And then Shirley Greenberg, Diane Walker Ellison, Wendy Zerota. Patrick Hyde.
Patrick had to hide some more.
He had to go. He had to go. Oh, bless you. God bless you. Betsy Birch and Moira Martin and Prue, of course. Moira, Prue, Karen Foley, Gayatri, Durga, Gayatri, Durga, Shanti, thank you. You bring Australia to us. Kiwi bird. Michael, Shiva, Bob, Crane, Shiva. All right, covered all. Shanti, Shiva, Durga, Michael, Gayatri. Anyone from Maya deprived of anyone? All have got it. Linda Mataji. Because of the yes. Your name? Linda Mataji. I'll send it to you. I told them you'll be walking with a stick. Take plenty of rest. Take plenty of rest. And all programs are optional to you until you feel like starting to come to them. Until that's no obligation. But the obligation is to take maximum rest. Look here. Give one apple and one bar to Jean-Pierre. Take it to him. And he must be somewhere.
It's right there.
Yes. Very good. I think I can also do with a candy bar. And an apple also. There are 3 or 4. Do you want to Karuna Prema? And who is the invisible helper in the kitchen? Dala?
Dana.
Give one to keep one for Diana. Give one to Diana.
He's coming back.
Yes, she was there at the airport yesterday.
Yes.
Yes, she was there at the airport. She drove with and I think Star deserves one. She's commuting too many times between airport and center. One for Diana and one for Star. And one for yourself for having done all the karma yoga. Kept the secret. Please take this to the room. This also. Now it's supper time. No. Who is eager for a kiwi, which is not a bird? It's a non-bird kiwi. See? Long ago, I don't know why. Long ago, in good old British times, India was the market for planting all the British foods. One very well-known brand of shoe polish was Kiwi boot polish.
My father had a closet full of
There's
this
a Kiwi.
It's still here. Non, donne-le ce truc.
And of course, another typical was cherry blossom boot polish. Another was cherry blossom. Nice name. But Kiwi was very popular. With a little picture of here, long big Kiwi bird. And Kiwi birds don't fly, I think. I don't think. He must be knowing he's closer to Australia. Mauritians have got connect links with Australia. Om Tat Sat. God bless you for your nice company. Thank you.